paper magic will survive like the heat death of the universe and will...
Oh, it's a smuggler's copter. Would you like to crew this? And then it crashes because they don't understand arithmetic.
All your cards belong to me.
2 minutes into macing him in the eyeballs, I switched to pepper spray. He's like, yeah, it's downright refreshing. And went back to the mace.
Magic is dying. I'm done. Selling everything.
I might be a hoarder. And yes.
I don't have the crayons or glue to explain this to you right now.
What, are you gonna die twice?
Oil will be worthless before magic cards will.
Well, okay, Dr. Man.
That's Mr. Dr. Professor Jason.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Brainstorm Brewery. We thought about a rolling intro because we've been recording some after hours for all the patrons, but here we are.
You can't do that, Corbin. Here's what he did. He said, hey, Jason, who do you think's going to win the Stanley Cup? And I was like, oh, I can. And he's like, yeah, we're not going to talk about it right now. Anyway, here's the podcast. This is what he did.
Must be frustrating, huh, Jason?
Within the last 30 seconds, ooh!
Well, welcome in, everybody. We're actually got a lot of good stuff on tap today. We're going to talk Modern Horizons. We're going to talk some big changes to TCG Player. But first, we're going to play a little bit of a game. I've got this queued up here for Jason and DJ. And trust me when I say we are all struggling through it this week. However, we're going to try to play...
There are no winners.
What Boostie Is It In? That's what we're going to play here. As you might know, Modern Horizons 2 has essentially, I think it's literally 8 different versions of cards. I could be wrong. It might be 7.
Some
it might
cards
be 9.
have less. Some cards have more. That's
Sure.
the even better part. Like,
yeah. It just
not
makes no
every
sense.
card has a bunch of different versions, but every card has at least a couple different versions.
Yup, absolutely.
DJ's just explaining the premise of the game more.
I mean, none of it makes any sense, but that's the point. So here we go. For you guys, where can you find a foil etched rare?
I mean, collector booster
Collector
is one of
boosters.
the options.
Collector boosters for sure, maybe set boosters also. I'm going to say both.
You're going to say both?
I'll say
Both collector
both.
and set. Yeah.
Okay. It is, in fact, just collector boosties. Keep in mind, everybody, that I am likely to be very wrong when I give them the answers because nobody knows. But we're trying. Okay, give me real quickly the breakdown. Either of you guys can work together on this one. Give me the breakdown of a draft booster for Modern Horizons 2. I'll give you some easy ones. We've got 10 commons and 3 uncommons. What else is in the pack?
1 rare
/ mythic.
/ mythic.
Mm-hmm.
And there's not a guaranteed foil, is there? I think there's a guaranteed foil, right?
In a draft booster?
I can't
Yeah,
remember
there
if
has to be.
No,
Isn't it like
wasn't-
a $15 booster pack? Yeah, it's got to be a guaranteed
No,
foil.
because there wasn't for Modern Horizons 1. There wasn't guaranteed foils for Modern Horizons 1, so there's not.
Well, this is a
guaranteed
different
foil.
set. This wasn't a $500 collector booster box for Modern Horizons 1.
Collector boosters didn't exist back then.
Exactly. This is a completely different set. I'm going to say there's a guaranteed foil.
Okay.
I'm going to say there's a guaranteed foil token. No, I'm just kidding. There's a token.
There is a guaranteed foil
or a
token,
card
for
saying
sure.
don't play this at your LGS. There's that too.
You're right. There are token/art cards.
Oh,
I'm sorry,
geez, art
token/ad cards. I'm not sure if that's different than an art card or not.
It is.
Okay, there's more though. Okay, I'll give you this.
There's an art card probably in every set booster.
I haven't got to the set
Or draft
boosters
boosters?
yet. I don't know. But here's the thing. I'll tell you this. You guys were close. Is there anything else you think is in the set? And by close, I mean you've mostly been wrong, but continue.
There's a giant middle finger in every pack.
So 10 commons, 3 uncommons,
That's the ad card. We
1
covered
rare
that
or
one.
mythic, a token. I'm going to say there's a guaranteed foil.
Okay. So here it is. There is not a guaranteed foil. 1 in 3 packs will include a traditional foil card that replaces one of the 10 commons. It could be a main set card of any rarity or any of this other stuff, including a borderless rare or mythic rare or showcase treatment card of any rarity. But you all also missed this one. There's a new to modern reprint card in every pack.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
42 cards of Modern Horizons 2 are being introduced to Modern, and each pack will have one of those. But you were
I
wrong.
thought
There
those
was
would
not
be
a
in set
guaranteed foil.
boosters.
Yeah, not a guaranteed foil. Other than that, you all did all right. That was actually pretty good. Okay, so let me hear then. What do you think is different from that about the set booster? You were right. I'll tell you this. The art card comes in a set booster. 95% of the art cards opened will be regular, and 5 will be foil stamped with an artist signature or planeswalker symbol. So there's multiple versions of your art cards.
I know the set boosters are the only place you can get the list and the list cards.
Which is, especially right now, the list is kind of not mattered for people who don't know. It just exists and it puts more copies of cards into circulation.
And the price has never been affected.
Yeah, it's just never been a big deal. However, moving forward, they made the announcement that with Secret Lair, Stranger Things, and moving forward, the Secret Lairs that have unique mechanical cards, a la The Walking Dead, will now, 6 months later, have
roughly, not even exactly, roughly.
Yeah, at least, something like that. At least 6 months later, we'll have a Magic card version put into the list inside the set booster. So it's similar to the Godzilla treatment. I don't think it will have the names.
It's a reverse Godzilla.
Yeah, it won't have the names of both of them, right? But if you want to play Snot-Nosed Kid, whatever, from Stranger Things and Commander, you can do that. But you could also play it in Vintage. But then 6 months later, you'll get a Magic version of that does the same thing, and you can have your choices. I think this was the in-between they reached on everyone hates the Secret Lair, everyone hates Walking Dead.
The example for this is like we get I don't even remember the guy's name. Rick. Like we would get like Rick later as like Thalia version of 4 mana.
Actually, it would be Coral Atoll probably, or Coral Reef or something.
Sure. Yeah. Anyways, that's the
every turn it makes coral.
yeah. That's the idea. Anyways, okay. So that is a big deal, I think. It's a nice middle ground. I'm sure they're using that 6 months as a pitch to the companies they're partnering with on the Secret Lairs, that they'll have exclusivity to those cards for X amount of time or something. I'm sure that's all working into it in the background.
I'm sure they just pay them a licensing fee up front, and those companies don't care about.
Yeah, but maybe it's that simple. It just depends whether it's a straight licensing deal or more of a partnership based thing, right? We don't know exactly what it looks like. I have mentioned
this a few times on this cast, but I have to keep coming back to it. Why is the list the name of this product /, like, expansion / what? Like, why is it literally just the list?
It's on the list,
man. There's nothing to that. Like, out of all the naming conventions Wizards has done over the years, they've overused the word mythic. Like, that's not great, but whatever. The word secretversary can just go itself right off a cliff. Like, that's a thing. But
yourself off a cliff.
We've got more to discuss. However, I hear you. For the rest of you who wanted to know, in the set boosters, there's going to be 6 commons or uncommons, of which at least 1 is uncommon. Common cards will tell a story and be thematically connected to other commons. There's then 1 wild card, which 30% of the time will be a rare or mythic rare. Then there's rare mythic rares, including possible showcase sketch or retro frame rares, or mythic rares, or borderless mythic rares. You can get either regular enemy fetch lands or retro frame enemy fetch lands in this. There's 1 head turner showcase, common or uncommon. The head turner slot offers a look into the showcase treatments featured in Modern Horizons 2.
This is ridiculous. Fucking hell.
This is ridiculous.
We live in hell. This is magic in hell. It's like, oh, we got Magic the Gathering down here. You're like, great, Satan. What's it like? He's like, pick one of the 49 different fucking boosters, idiot.
The only thing that I can take from this is that some high-ranking, like, Hasbro suit. Like, that guy watched the one TED Talk about spaghetti sauce and took all the wrong lessons from it.
You're listening to Malcolm Gladwell. That guy thinks it takes you 20,000 hours to learn to play the flute. Don't listen to Malcolm Gladwell.
Like, there's that one TED Talk about spaghetti sauce where he's like, oh yeah, having 80,000 versions of spaghetti sauce is great. But, like, that's not how it works for Magic.
I'm the one that told you to watch that.
I saw that, like, forever ago in a psych class in undergrad.
There you go. Just so everyone else knows, the collector boosties have foil etched or mythic rares, foil etched common or uncommons, 1 foil etched basic land, 1 foil alt frame rare or mythic rare, 1 sketch or borderless rare or mythic rare, 2 foil sketch or retro frame commons and uncommons, 1 extended art rare, 1 sketch common or uncommon, 2 foil uncommons, 4 foil commons, 1 foil double-sided token. But not announced in any of this is that it turns out some of the old border foils have different foilings. Some of them are foiled over the entire card, and some of them are just foiled around the art or the edge or one of the. They're different.
It is very similar to the differences in masterpieces between North America and European printings. If you ordered like a set of Mox Opals or whatever masterpieces, then you notice differences between the two foilings. That is why, because the ones where the entire card is foiled were printed in North America, and the ones where the rest of the card has a matte finish were printed in Europe. So that's the difference between the two Kaladesh masterpieces. And
apparently
similar undisclosed differences and variants between these two, except like it's a bigger deal because that's variant number 14 over 13 as opposed to like, oh, these are just different printings and like with Kaladesh.
Wizard's response to that tweet wasn't, oh, hey, here's the thing, you get the different, here's the thing we planned. They were like, oh, can you please give us some information about where you bought this? And I was like, well, but it's a secret mystery different variant that even Wizards didn't know about.
Secret rares, man. Secret ultra ghost rares.
And then they wrote a 4,000 word article about the entire variant.
And did not include that. Yep. Anyways, well, Modern Horizons 2, everybody. That said, if you pre-released, I hope you had fun. If that looks like it's doing some crazy things for Modern, we'll go over that in a little bit. But first, let's play Breaking Bulk.
Breaking Bulk time. Breaking Bulk time. Break.
Oh, yeah, Breaking Bulk. There's so much good stuff.
It's a pick. Breaking Bulk. The end.
I have a Judgment Green uncommon.
No one knows what's in that set. Next.
I do.
It was reprinted in the list, Corbin.
I don't have any idea what's in the list, man.
Is it a creature?
No.
Gaia's Blessing.
Get the fuck out of here.
Is Judgment the Scales? That would make sense.
Yes,
what's in that set, though? Jeez. What do I have next to me? Do I have any of those next to me?
Chain of Acid was Onslaught.
Yeah, all the chains are Onslaught.
I have Onslaught next to me.
A lot of the elves were in Onslaught. What was in Judgment?
I couldn't name a single Judgment card off the top of my head.
It's
the Scales.
That's like unsettling for like people listening to this podcast for your advice.
Why should they believe anything you say?
Because I can't immediately name a card from Judgment.
Yes,
you can't name any cards from Judgment.
Any card.
Is it the thing in the filth cycle?
No, it's not Genesis.
Does it make tokens?
Yes.
Was Solitary Confinement in that set?
Yes.
Oh, so you accidentally named it. Is it the Grisly Fate?
Yes. Yep. Grisly Fate. 5 mana sorcery, put 2 green bears into play. Threshold, put 4 bears into play, and then Flashback, put a lot more bears into play. So this card was pure bulk, complete bulk, all the way up until War of the Spark / Throat of Eldraine. Modern Horizons 1 came out. It had Ayula, the first legendary bear. And then this card spiked to $3. Nobody built Ayula, so now it's back down to $1, but it's still in that like post-spike mindset of it's worth more than it was when it was bulk, even though the big hype for it has passed. So Grisly Fate is still very worth picking out of bulk. And if you find the list copies, cool. That's a thing.
Yep.
If you open any Grisly Fates in your collector boosters from Modern Horizons 2.
I don't
know
if
it's
you
worth it
all
to know what you have and where it is.
Yeah.
Because if that stuff's just in a big pile, just like of pure bulk, like when Ayula comes out, you're not going to be ready, and you'll find it a year later. You're like, oh, this went to $3. Oh, it's a quarter again. Well, I guess I'll go bear myself. So it kind of helps to I don't know. I looked through my overpick boxes, and I found Shrieking Drakes in my overpick box, and I didn't have to dig through all my bulk, and that felt real good. Because at the time, Shrieking Drake wasn't worth anything. Then Chilane came along, and then Lonus came along. So, yeah, it's something that's suspicious. You're like, this isn't worth anything, but I don't know why. Just, throw it in a suspicious, not a pick.
Also,
box.
just like relevant creature types that make non-competitive players foam at the mouth. Like bears and squirrels have always just been this like weird archetype for person who has never heard of Magic suddenly says they want to build that deck. Or it's like, I want to build a squirrel deck because I didn't know Magic existed, but now I know there's a lot of cards that say the word squirrel on them. And so like if you hoarded a lot of those squirrel cards, like not unlike a squirrel would do, then you'd be getting a payoff right about now. But like Bears too have always just been like this weird 60 card casual tribal thing that has been in existence in the murky depths of the non-competitive players for a while.
Yeah, I honestly could not tell you all the last time I picked Judgment or even saw it come through. However, I do pick this next set. I've seen plenty of it. Commander Legends. Uncommon. Colorless.
Colorless uncommon? It's, God, what's even uncommon in that set? Like Universal Solvent? The Masked Piper thing?
Universal Solvent's like a reprint, though.
Is it only in that set?
Yeah.
Oh.
I think it's in most of the decks. I don't know exactly. Or
Wait,
most of the
decks?
Sorry,
Legends
that's not what I meant. Rather, I meant to say you can play this in any color deck. It's legal in most every deck you would play, if not every deck.
I'm trying to think of like the exclusive cards that are
You're overthinking it, probably.
I mean, you said it's only in Commander Legends, so
That's correct. That's correct.
Is it a land?
Yeah.
Okay, okay. I was thinking artifacts, so yeah.
I don't know. I'm sure I pick it, whatever it is.
It's real cheap. I mean, it's real cheap, but I think it's
Is it the?
We'll talk
is
about
it the? Is it the? What's it called? The bounce land.
It is. Yes.
Okay.
Guildless Commons is the card. It's just the colorless bounce land, so you can put it into anything. And with all the DFCs out of Zendikar, it's bounce land's got a big pick me up in commander circles anyway. And Guildless Commons is 50 cents. I don't know. It seems like a card that could easily start getting shoved into every commander deck moving forward and be worth nothing, but it could also just miss and end up creeping up to $1. But it's right on that verge of being a pick. Like Jason called it his over pick box. That's probably the type of place I'd want to put this. I've got a giant over pick box. I like calling it that. I usually call mine I have written on my big box a spec box, but that's like just feels bad when you look at it and nothing has like none of it did anything. You're like, oh, my specs failed. Calling it an over pick box though, now you're talking.
I call the false god. This seems better than that.
I call mine backstock.
Yeah, that works
so,
too.
Like, if I overpick something and I don't want to list it, it goes into backstock, and then backstock also just has like my 35 through 80th copies of like assault vest or assault suit or whatever, or like Bojuka, like 90 through 110 of Bojuka Bog, just stuff like that.
Right.
And so it helps to have a backstock of cards you don't want to list immediately for when things sell out. So when Nut Collector spiked, I sold all the ones I had on TCG, which was like 3 or 4 of them or whatever. And then I went to Backstock and it's like, oh, I have 9 of these. Cool. And then those ones are the ones that got listed for 50.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great way to put it. It works out too. I know I have a bunch of mutagenic growths in my box, and those have gotten expensive again recently. So it works out, when you just have those commons and uncommons that you don't, that you maybe don't want to buy list at their current price, but you don't really want to put them back in the bulk either. Just have somewhere you throw them, and don't call it a spec box because then you feel bad. But all these other names are great.
So, like, one of the most important things that I tell people who DM me asking for, like, how I keep up with all this stuff, because I'm a single-person operation that just, like, has all this crap going on behind me. And, like, one of the most important parts of my routine is just, like, getting on MTG stocks and just checking to see what spiked. And then all the new inventory that I list on my TCG player is mostly just, like, backstock that spiked. Mm-hmm. So, like, that was just a full week of every week during Modern Horizons preview, every day during Modern Horizons previews or whatever, I would just check to see whatever card went up by 600% and then list it and then make a bunch more money. It's like, oh, cool, the Mirage coin flipping reserve list guy is $50 now. I guess I'll pull 10 of those from Backstock, list them for $50. oh, cool, the whatever card that's, I guess I'll pull 15 Druid's Calls or whatever, like, and just, if you make it part of your routine, if you just make it part of your thing that happens every day, then it will seamlessly flow into your workflow, and you'll just be able to, like, check MTG stocks, have all the cards sorted already, pull them out of bulk, and then list them, and then you'll be happier.
I mean, yeah, let's dig in that for a second. We'll come back for Jason's here, but DJ, how big would you say your backstock box is? Are we talking like...
It's literally the box, like all those 5 rows behind me are backstock.
So tens of thousands of cards are in your backstock. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So that's that for anybody at home. That's the upper level, right? I have basically like 1,000 count where I keep stuff, right? So there are definitely levels you can go to here depending on how deep you want to go. But that really is a great way to have the opportunity to get some of the profits on those fast moving cards.
And most of them are like worthless too. Like a lot of the cards in my backstock are. Like, I have 30 or 40 hollow ones back that I just grabbed random cards and there were hollow ones. So...
Well, and that's actually a great example, because Hollow One got very cheap, if I recall. All right, Hollow One is $1 right now, but there was a hot minute where the card was $3 or $4 because it was very good in Modern. And it's also the kind of card that, if anything comes along that makes discard just a little too good or something, Hollow One is just the slot into that card. And I've already seen some of it making a reappearance in Modern since Modern Horizons 2. So, like, Hollow One's actually the perfect example of the kind of card you want there. It's $1. It's not worthless, so it's not bulk, but you don't really want to sell them for $1. Yeah, that's great. All right, Jason, go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I guess.
Am I allowed?
Yeah, I guess.
This card's on the list, but it was also reprinted in Eternal Masters. And initially an Avacyn Restored, it's a green common.
An Avacyn Restored green common?
Abundant Growth.
Abundant Growth. I don't know if the list did anything. The Eternal Masters kind of spanked it a little bit. It's below $1 again, but Abundant Growth is a pick. So pick.
This is a pauper card too.
Yeah, that was a Tron card for a while, I think. Because it would give you mana to loop your mnemonic wall or whatever. I haven't played Pauper in a hot minute, but
there was just a lot. It's good in like multiple decks, or at least it was.
There you
go. Like a very efficient, like it's almost like an Arkham's Astrolabe-esque like thing where it's just
it's just free.
It's free real estate, baby. So pick those.
That's important too, because most Avacyn Restored bulk just goes straight into the trash if it doesn't have Blood Artists in it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think what else there is in that set. Cloud Shift, I don't even know if that's a pick anymore.
Ghostly Flicker was it for a while?
Ghostly Flicker, yeah. Not the best set. Also, the foiling in that set is trash. I mean, maybe not compared to today's foils, but they did something different with foils in that set.
It was worse. That's one of the worst foilings ever is AVR.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
AVR foil caverns are a nightmare to sell.
That's right. Okay, well, all right, next up then, we want to jump into Modern Horizons 2 in Modern specifically. So I want to pull this up here. We've got a big...
And by we mean one person on this cast, so...
Yeah, I mean, I just want to try to there's been some interesting decks pop up with 5-0s. A lot of food decks with Asmo, that weird red-black card. A lot of food engines, Feasting Troll King spiked. Asmo is what I believe it's called.
What's it called, though? I typed in Asmo and nothing came up. What do I type into a search engine to get that card to come up?
Asmo food deck. Asmo MTG, perhaps? I don't know what that thing's called.
I got food ASMR to come up, and I don't think I'll ever sleep again because it's just a guy eating next to his mic.
Yeah, it's I don't know why.
We've pioneered that with Corbin's ice cream bowl back in the day.
That's true.
He's literally eating ice cream right now.
It's a shake, actually, not ice cream.
Oh, what's a shake made out of, Corbin?
I don't know.
Wait, were you eating a shake with a spoon?
He's eating the individual M&Ms.
I did kind of like melted, so yeah, I had a spoon. It's like a Sonic shake. You can cut all this, JJ.
No, leave it in. We want to see what a cartoon person he is. We want everyone to know.
Does that help make sense of the fact that you've never heard of a Shamrock Shake, or does that make it more absurd?
I like the fact that, like, Corbin's like, they made fun of me for my spoon clanking in my ice cream bowl. You know what the problem was? The spoon in the bowl. So now he has a milkshake instead of, I don't know, going an hour without having ice cream.
Yeah, that's right. Absolutely.
You learned the wrong goddamn lesson is what. He hates these spoons.
Well, just so people are curious, so that is a deck. Living Inns made a comeback. Now, this one I love. Lantern Control is making a comeback, all thanks to Urza's Saga, obviously. The Underworld Cookbook, get that one on your Modern Horizons 2 pick list. That's going to be a breaking bulk if this deck doesn't get banned.
Are there any Merfolk decks?
There were some, that's true. There's a lot of...
If you go to the top 128, yeah.
There's actually a lot of really like cool decks, though, right? We talked about the return of some of these Lantern decks. There's a lot of different ways to play Living In. There's lots of Taxes deck. There's Glimpse of Tomorrow, which is from the... sorry, make sure to pull this up here. That's one of the new Suspend cards that then works as a Warp World for yourself. So it's just a deck full of Eldrazi, Shardless Agents. Shardless Agent, by the way, also slots into humans, because as it turns out, that card is a human. So big jumps on As Foretold, Omniscience decks. There's also an actual Enchantress deck that put up a 5-0. Playing, the full-on Enchantress's Presence, Greater Oromancy, Solitary Confinement, Sterling Grove, Utopia Sprawl. It's probably what's behind the Utopia Sprawl spike. How are you killing
somebody with that? Because I mostly kill people with my Estra deck by making them get bored and not want to play with me anymore.
Well, Destiny Spinner can turn your lands into big creatures. That's certainly a plan, I guess. That's probably about it.
Enchanted Evening Clean Fall. We did it.
Maybe you deck them? I don't actually know. But I will note that Abundant Growth, Breaking Bulk, did make an appearance into that deck. So if you're into Modern, now is a good time. There's a lot of cool stuff. There's Domain Zoo is even back among all things.
Because they gave us Scion of Draco and they gave us a Territorial Kavu. So they very much wanted Domain Zoo to be a thing.
And here's my personal favorite.
Get those tribal flames, baby.
Maybe, yeah. Well, here's my personal favorite from all of this is the return of Affinity. Now, you might recall back in the early-ish days of Modern, there was a lot of debate over whether or not you called Affinity because it had no Affinity cards in it. They all got cut, and it was this Metalcraft deck instead.
Robots.
But we fought the good fight. We kept it named Affinity.
Robots.
It was robots in some ways, yeah. So, however, that is not the case anymore. Affinity is back. Actual Affinity on cards. Mirror Enforcer, Frogmite.
What about the other Mirror Enforcer? There's a new Mirror Enforcer.
Did
you play that?
Well, yes. So Thought Monitor is the Modern Horizons card. So Nettle Cyst is Modern Horizons card making its way in here. There's some neat stuff. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I have to say. I don't know how much of this Modern stuff is going to stick. And if we just, food decks or something crazy starts breaking the format. But for right now, Modern seems lit. So lots of 5.0 lists if you want to go peruse the internet for those. There's a lot of neat stuff that over the next couple weeks or months, as we get back to Paper Magic, we'll start to see more and more movement on the decks on the Modern decks that really pick up.
3 years ago, we would have said, we'll link those in the show notes, but we realized that we never do shit like that. And why tell you we're going to do it? We're absolutely not going to link it in the show notes.
I know myself better than that.
Yeah. Just you know how to use the internet. You found our podcast on the internet. These deck lists are easier to find than this podcast. So you did the hard thing. Go to the easy thing. And while you're on the internet looking for this podcast, why don't you go to patreon.com/BSB for $20 a month, which is as little as $4 or $5 an episode. You can have this handsome drinking glass that a fruit fly will die in your beer, so you drink out of the bottle for the rest of the episode. You can have access to the tokens. We got brand new altar sleeves that you can still get locked in ? This week. Is it
sure?
Oh yeah.
They can this week if they lock in at $20.
Mm-hmm.
They just showed up. This one says, "Did you pay the 2?" I put it on Wandering Archaic. You can put it on Smothering Tithe. We got one that says this card needs a ban. We got one that says, "Did you pay the 1?" This card needs a reprint. They're great. Sheepwave did them for us. Sheepy Cutie on Twitter. We Well, I would love to tell you that we'll put her Twitter name in the show notes, but we won't do that.
Well,
we're not gonna. Just know that just type sheep into Twitter and it's one of the 100,000 results there.
There you go. Very simple.
Sheepy cutie.
It's the shout out that counts.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Or I retweeted when I retweeted on Monday. She said, "Hey, here's the custom thing," and I retweeted. So go check out my retweets. All my tweets are very funny. I don't know if you know this, but I'm very funny and entertaining, and my tweets are good.
And if you're blocked by Jason on Twitter, I guess go back to Googling sheep and see what happens.
If you're blocked by me on Twitter, you deserve it. Now give us your money. If you're at the $20 level and you write into the podcast like, Jason blocked me on Twitter, I will unblock you. If you are a $20 patron, it goes to patreon.com/BSB, gives us $20 a month, which is only $4 or $5 an episode. You get the tokens, you get the altar sleeves, you get the playmat, you get the glasses, you get unblocked by me.
Wow.
So get unblocked, pay pig.
And the after hours.
Thank you. Yes, and the after hours as well. Speaking of Patreon, though, we have an email here from a patron from Everett. Writes in, "Dear Jason and DJ with long-term guest Corbin, as I sit here brushing my dyed blonde..."
You're the guest. Get it, Corbin?
I got it. I did
You're
see
the guest.
that. Yeah, I got that. As I sit here brushing my dyed blonde hair and getting ready to hold up a drive-through lane, I must say I'm upset that you're reading these first-time listener emails at the top of the cast. We $20 patrons have to wait till the end of the cast.
We were going to read this last week.
A dime are pushed to the front. That's unfair. And I'd like the number for your manager.
We were going to read this last week, and I said, nope. Let's wait a week. Suck it, Everett.
Well, you know what, Everett? I am reading yours this week before we read the non-patron email. But Everett does ask, on the topic of MTG, off the top of your heads, can you say where each type of printing for Modern Horizon 2 cards can be found pack-wise? So we were actually playing the long con. Everett was at the top of the show because we answered that question to the best of our abilities, which I think we demonstrated was not particularly strong. Sincerely, EV, sent from my iPhone while driving. P.S. I hope you get a laugh from this. I love the cast and love tuning in every week. Keep up the great work going towards episode 500. Well, Everett, thank you for writing in. I hope we demonstrated how clueless we are, just like everyone else, including Wizards employees, about what you can actually find in booster packs. But thank you for writing in. We have one
mystery
more.
Booster means you open up a booster and you're like, oh shit, you can get Esh foils in here. It's a mystery booster.
I mean, that's what boosters have always been, right? It's a mystery.
It's one of the cards, it's the list. The list is all the different types of variations, and some of the list cards end up in packs. We did it. What about the Sharpie variant? Have you guys seen this with the Sharpie arrow?
Oh, I saw that on Facebook. Yeah.
Sharpie variant. I have seen
that's
that.
That's a new variant.
I didn't know if that was a troll or not. I didn't know if somebody was just like trying to make a joke.
So some guys it took me a long time to realize that the arrow was the thing and the arrow wasn't pointing toward the Sharpie. And I gotta admit, I'm in the same boat. I was like, what the fuck are they pointing at? And it's like, oh, the arrow is the Sharpie. Got it. Yeah. So somebody tweeted that and everyone was making fun of him. I'm like, haha, what an idiot. But yeah, that was me too.
To quote a very famous, on the subject of booster packs, to quote a very famous Disney Channel original movie, once the mystery's gone, so is the magic.
What?
Corbin? Is that from the email or did you just come up with that?
I knew that offhand, as a matter of fact. I'm not.
Is that from Luck of the Irish?
It is not. It's from a different Disney Channel original movie.
Is it from the one where the guy turned into a mermaid or turned?
Nope, the 13th year. It is not that one. It's a different. You think I got so little range? My Disney Channel original movie knowledge goes on and on. So if anyone can tell me
Corbin
what
has
that
never
quote is
seen
from.
Glengarry Glen Ross.
True.
Just wanted to point that out.
True. If anyone can tell me what that quote is from without Googling it, we'll go on our system here. But if you can tell me what movie that quote is from without Googling it, I will be very impressed, and I'll send you a booster pack. I got some here.
Will you? Because the last time you promised to send somebody a booster pack,
it took a little bit, I guess.
They had to email me multiple times, and I had to forward that email to you multiple times. Then they got their $40 bouncer patron friend to message you and threaten to quit their Patreon.
And then they got a booster pack. And you know what? I hooked them up. I think I sent them an Eternal Masters booster pack. We've got another email here.
You are the Amazon customer support of people.
I hooked them up. That's all. I think I sent several booster packs, as a matter of fact. But if you can name that one, let me know, and I'll put you on the list. And eventually,
and Corbin will be like, "Yeah, I think you Googled."
Maybe
you're disqualified.
If anyone knows it, though, I'll be impressed. But here we go.
What's the quote again? Read the quote one more time.
Once the mystery is gone, so is the magic. I played many World of Warcraft nights watching that movie. I hope I got the quote right. It's been a while.
I hope I got the quote right.
Well, I guess if nobody knows it, then obviously...
See this? My eye is literally twitching. It was before, but still, you didn't make my eye stop twitching with your rhetoric.
I understand. We do want to read one more...
YouTube comment section of a person.
I got one more email, man. You gotta let me read the next email.
Have I?
This email was from a made-up person, I think because it's from Griffin Weintraut. And that's a lot of animals in a name.
Remember last week when somebody accused us of making up the name John Smith?
Yeah, so we're going the other direction with the name making up now.
There's no way the guy's name is Griffin Weintraut and not Griffin Weintraut the Third.
Well, I guess
that's just a guy who tries to get a ski slope shut down in an 80s movie.
True. Well, Griffin wrote in and said, "Hey guys, I wanted to let you know that this episode 444, was legitimately my first episode. My buddy told me about your show. I got bored at work and now I'm listening. Truffle Hunter on your Discord is the dude that suggested you guys to me. I feel unwelcomed and alienated by your refusal to acknowledge first-time listeners. Last sentence was a joke, but I like the podcast so far. Cheers, Spooks GW, which I can only assume stands for Spooks Gone Wild." So thanks for listening, Griffin. You totally real person with a totally real email.
Spooks green white, probably. It's a hardened scales. Oh, it's a 4-anointed procession, 4 parallel lives token deck. Spooks GW with good lingering souls.
Midnight Haunting.
Yeah.
Instant spirits. Yep.
Ooh. Okay. All right.
Now you're talking.
Yeah. That seems all modern legal. Is Lingering Souls banned in Modern?
It's not. As a matter of fact, you can now play it alongside Vindicate, which I've seen some decks doing, which is neat.
What an unfair card.
Well, it's actually, without going too deep into this, I actually say that it's pretty cool to see Lingering Souls popping up again in Modern, because there was a solid run of probably 2 years where that card was... It's not even that the card wasn't good enough. The card was just kind of unplayable because the format was so broken that the idea of spending 3 mana to get 2 1/1 flyers was laughable. But
if you didn't have Young Pyromancer in play, forget about it.
Yeah. So
there was that red, black, white Pyro deck running around for a while.
Yeah, I mean, years ago, right? Mardu Pyromancer's years old at this point. But I'll say that
tell me my daughter's 5.
I might sell you that. Yeah. Modern has gone through a lot, and I think ended up in a really good place. So it's actually really neat to see. Honestly, the card Vindicate, I think, is sort of this weird card that in previous Modern metas would be unplayable, but the format has slowed down. It's become more fair as a result of bannings and a result of just kind of the cards they've been printing, and even the combo decks you can interact with a little bit. So I don't know. Modern seems like it's in a good place, and we got a couple months probably before it gets broken again, but it'll be fun until then. All right, next up, I think it is time to do our pick of the week. Cue that music, JJ.
Pick of the week, pick of the week, pick of the week. Time for the pick of the week.
What are you telling me to cue the music for?
Because then it's an intro to cue the music. The music's cued. Would you rather me say fuck it? We'll do it live?
Are you signaling QAnon people? Because that was such an awkward thing. There's no way that's not a code. You're telling QAnon people, cue the music means that Donald Trump is on July 4th.
Yeah.
That's when you make somebody president. So
true.
Biden's not actually president. Trump is going to take over on July 4th.
Yeah, the cicadas come out. Did you know that cicada is they come out every 17 years or whatever, 18 whatever it is, and Q is the 17th letter of the alphabet?
Oh, okay.
I think if you add up all the letters in cicada, it comes out to a number divisible by 17 too, so that makes sense.
You know what sounds like Cicada? John Cena.
John
who
Cena's
said
in
that
movies.
Taiwan was a country and then apologized
in Chinese.
Yeah, in Chinese. So Taiwan is the spot where Donald Trump will become the 47th president. We did it.
We did it.
Mission accomplished.
As a reminder, for all of our pick of the weeks, you can go to mtgstocks.com. We've talked about it the whole episode. We talk about it every episode because it has all the data you will ever need to make it in this magic finance business. It has the picks. It's got the movers and shakers. Is just about any tool you could want. It exists on mtgstocks.com. And this card that I'm going to pick is somehow very cheap on mtgstocks.com. $238 is the market price on this one. Imri, Lurker of the Lock.
Wow.
That's a card I have in my backstock.
It's $2.
I refuse to sell that card for less than like $7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Now,
not a $2 card.
Well, I think the thing is, part of it is that some card somehow I think is still in standard, but it's been a part of at this point multiple broken decks that have eaten bans, and yet Imri has not gotten banned, and we've seen other cards in Throne of Eldraine get really pricey, and I just have to imagine that it's going. Yeah, I'm with you. This is the backstock card, right? This is the one that you don't want to sell this thing for 75 cents on a buy list when you get it, or $1 on a buy list. You just want to put them all in a box and wait till it's 10 because it probably will.
We saw Feasting Troll King go for 50 cents to $5 just because someone said the word food into a microphone. Food ASMR.
Yeah.
So the fact that this is like hovering around $2.50 makes me think this is a $9 card if anything happens in standard or modern, or just the amount it's played in EDH will just do its thing.
There are 10 rares. There are 10 rares in Throne of Eldraine more expensive than Imri. Are you telling me Imri is not the 10th best rare in Throne of Eldraine? Yeah, I think the card's definitely underpriced.
Yeah.
I have a card from Throne of Eldraine too.
Okay,
it's even cheaper than Imri.
Nice.
You picked a $2 card. I'm going to pick a card that is 90% cheaper than that.
Okay, so we got the bulk pick then. I like it.
Sir Conrad is basically worthless because it got a printing and a commander precon.
The foils, though. How about those foils?
I just like picking the non-foil because you can get like a brick of it. Like I'd rather buy like a number of Sir Conrad. I don't even know how much the foil is. What is it, like $5 to $10?
It's $5. It's about $4 to $5. Yeah.
Sure. Like I'd rather buy like 50
me too.
non-foil Sir Conrads and then just like
we said that about Tatiova, and that turned out to be non-correct though.
With the foils? I mean, the thing is, if you had a stack of your foiled or just of Tatiovas when it was 50 cents, you did pretty well, right? It's it's an embarrassment of riches at that point. I'm with DJ, though. I generally would prefer, because the problem with the set rare on a card like Sir Conrad, the set foil rather, is you never know when they're just one weird set away from giving it a full art foil version, and then you're stuck with the original set foil, and you're like, okay, I guess. Right?
They can do like a secret lair. They can do like a secret lair or whatever. Specifically, I really like the commander printing of this card. I've talked a lot about this podcast about how like SEO or search engine optimization can impact like which printings are more desirable, and this is a really good example of that. Cards that are in commander precons, specifically just because they have the word commander in the card set name, actually does wonders in terms of like Google or Amazon or just search engines leading for non-competitive players to buy cards. And so the fact that this card was in a precon actually helps its longevity in terms of the people that will search for it and find it. And obviously the text on the card is insane. It's very, very unique in terms of just cards leaving graveyards from anywhere, one-shotting your opponent with Bazooka Box, just like ridiculous levels of like just crazy mechanics you can do with this card. Obviously it's a combo masterpiece, but like stacking up on bricks of this card at 25 cents is a shoe-in, absolutely.
Well, and what's interesting about that is the Commander version, which was printed in October of 2020, has doubled, right? I mean, doubled in air quotes here, but the market price has gone from 25 cents to 50 cents. So DJ's right. You can absolutely get a ton of these at a quarter anywhere. This is just actual bulk in a lot of ways. So this is a great one to just have a massive pile on, and it shows that even though it's still super early, I mean, if it's doubled in 6 months, it's just kind of a meaningless price, right? It's got to do that before it gets to $1, and then it's $1 before it gets to $5, right? That's just how these things go. So you may as well get in now and have them forever. Great pick. That card is absurd. Jason, what do you got?
Yeah, DJ's just copying the fact that I wrote a whole article about Sir Conrad on MTG Price that you can check out for free at mtgprice.com/Jason came up with that months ago. Speaking of another card I wrote a whole article about, the article is called The Murky Future of the Best Card in Strixhaven. And that card is, of course, everybody knows, drumroll please, Wandering Mother Effin' Archaic. Wow! Wandering Archaic, what a good pick. We thought it would go to like $5-6. It never did. It's not going to go down from where it is right now. And if it does, just buy a bunch until the average price you paid is lower. There, you look really smart. So this probably won't go down, and if it does, just buy more. So you actually can't lose on Wandering Archaic. I don't hate the regular version, which is the cheapest. I don't hate the extended art, which is around 10, and I certainly don't hate the foil, which is around 15. So you honestly cannot mess up. There's no wrong way to buy a bunch of Wandering Archaics, the best card in the set, and you can put it in your Patreon exclusive altar sleeve that says, "Did you pay the 2?" to remind people, hey, I'm copying your spells, idiot. Wandering Archaic.
That's that synergy I like, Jason. Very nice. Nicely done. Professional.
I can pitch. Oh, yeah.
Jason is great at. I'll have to, for all of Jason's bits that miss here and end up on the cutting room floor, I do have to say that Jason's pitches have done well enough that we've incorporated them into the Twitch streaming channel, which you can check out at twitch.com/Brainstorm Brewery. We've been having fun with that, and one of the channel pints rewards is for Jason to pitch whatever you want him to pitch, and he typically does not disappoint. Anything else the two of you would like to say before we get out of here for the week? Any shout-outs, any experiences with Modern Horizons 2 thus far? Anything worth sharing on the way out the door?
I'm kind of relieved that the case of collector's boosters that I ordered didn't come in, because it would have been like $300 each, and I didn't have to buy them.
that was very great. Thank you.
I just said I want a case, and they're like, he's like, it's going to be like $275 each, and I was like, ooh, okay. And then he got allocated, so I win. I will light $2,000 on fire though. I don't give a shit. I would have just busted them all and just like left them on my. I just seriously have just a big stack of Strixhaven foils from the collector boosters. I haven't sold a single one. Just
one day.
Yep. Just light money on fire. Who cares?
I had a couple people ask me if I'm going to be at the TCG con in Florida, and I will not. I am in the process of buying a house and dealing with all that.
Not dying of COVID in Florida.
DJ's doing some real life finance here with the house buying, so maybe we'll get into that in a couple of weeks, because I'm sure DJ's going to experience the joys of home ownership and moving and all of that stuff.
I'm excited to want a grill. I've never wanted a grill before.
Oh, you gotta get a grill.
That's great, yeah.
We'll talk grills.
Yeah, like I don't want a grill right now, but I believe you when you say like the second you like get the keys, it's just like a natural phenomenon.
It's time to go buy a set of white New Balance shoes to cut the grass in, get them all nice and green. And you need to scope out the spot next to your house to put the grill.
Yeah, there's just something about taking cooking meat that really makes you feel like a provider. It's a really primal experience. You won't forget it. Yep.
My wife bought steaks, and then I grilled them. I'm a provider.
All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for listening to Brainstorm Brewery. As always, thanks for supporting us here. Thank you for supporting us on YouTube, on Patreon, on Twitch, on all of that. Thank you, everybody. We will see you next week.
If you're on YouTube, like and subscribe and click and comment. And if you're not on YouTube, rate us on iTunes.
Sure.
Or iHeartRadio or Stitcher or Podbox or Podbeans. Podbox.
Box Pod.
I made that up, but I'm sure that's